Hello everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. In today's MTPredictor video, I'd like to have a look at how we use MTPredictor to analyze the markets, with a nice example from the ES, the USE Mini from yesterday. But first we start with our risk disclaimer and remind everyone that all examples in these videos should be considered as hypothetical. No trades are actually taken, they're just shown for illustration and training purposes only. Remind you there's a risk of loss in trading and investing. This is important, because no software or no system will ever make money all the time. It's important to understand that losses can and will and do unfold. With any trading approach, there always will be losses, and that's important to understand. Right, let's have a look at an example from the ES from yesterday. This is a day session only chart where we look at the market from 9:30 to 4:15 in the afternoon New York time. Now, MTPredictor does have automatic setups, you can see on the chart, but we don't just train these blindly, perhaps in the direction of our MTP train color. We don't do that because we know and understand, but more importantly accept that basic markets are random. They're random about 50% of the time. So half the time there's no clear, clean pattern. So of course that raises the question, how do we then decide when the picture's clear, if we can't just take trade setups all the time? By the way, this is why a lot of many automatic and basically black box 100% systems actually fail, because they basically assume that the market can be traded all the time. So what we do is we go to the higher time frame chart. This is a time frame between 3 and 5 time frames higher. So this is on a 3-minute chart, so the higher time frame would be the 15-minute. If you say looking at daily, the higher time frame would be weekly. If you say trading forex or maybe a 4-hourly chart, the higher time frame would probably be the daily chart. So what we're looking to do is we're looking to place our DPs on the chart in advance. If I just put a bit of white space on the right hand side here, just so we can see what's going on. I'm just going to move that over. By the way, this is our add-ons for NinjaTrader 8. We have a standalone version as well as scripts for TradingView. So this is our NinjaTrader 8 add-on. So way back here, what we can do is then place a DP on the chart. So we take it from this prior pivot low, we right mouse click, we do decision point. Can you see how it's on the chart in advance? This is the important thing. It's because it's a leading indicator. So what we're doing is we're asking a question of the market. We're saying this is where we anticipate. We're not projecting the market's going to get there because they're random half the time. But this is where we project an area of where we anticipate support may come in. So what we do is ask a question of the market. What are you going to do if, not when, but if you get to this level? So the market went down to this level here. You can see it got to this level and then had a little bit of a go on that day, then came down and reversed at that level there again the previous day. But the important thing now is the market then made a reversal. Can you see that? It did actually indeed reverse off this support zone. So when it does that, we then deem that the picture is clear, and then we deem that the market is then in a uptrend because it's coming off support. If it was coming off resistance, i.e. a DP high, then it would be looking for short trades. We now come down to the 3-minute chart, the shorter time frame chart. So what I'll do is I'll just put that white space off there so we've got a bit more room to work with. So this is how it looks like on a on the actual 3-minute chart where you're looking for the trade setups. Here you can see the DP is on the chart, and you can see clearly that support came in at this level. In other words, it's a clear picture. So we're looking for the reversal to happen clearly at the DP support level. The market then went up, it then came down, made an ABC correction here into our buy setup. Our MTP trend helped confirm this by our MTP trend going long. So let's right mouse click over the blue buy bar here and place the analysis on. So this gave you the analysis. If I scroll up, this was the original analysis. This would have been on the chart at the time of the setup. So this was our W3 or our wave 3 trade setup. There are other videos on our website that show exactly what a W3 or wave 3 trade setup is. It's one of our favorite trade setups because it's off a wave 2 low. In other words, this looks like it's the start of the sequence. That would be wave 1. Wave 2 subdivides into an ABC. We're then anticipating a strong wave 3 swing. That's why our target is up here at the typical wave 3 WPT. We like this because wave 3s are normally the strongest and longest in a completed 5-wave sequence. Therefore, their profit potential is large in relation to the initial risks. But it's the initial risks that's important, because this is what we do at MTPredictor is that when the losses come through, and they will, it doesn't matter what anyone tells you, there will be losses. That's a part of any trading system. But the losses are kept small, in this case at what we call one risk unit. If the market goes up to this target, then this profit would have been approximately 14 times the initial risk. It didn't. The market basically closed before it got to the target, so actually on close, the profit would have been almost 11 times the initial risk, which is actually a very good trade indeed. So the question also arises is, what do you do when you have opposing setups like this that are sort of halfway through your existing trade? Well, this is where you go back out to the 15-minute chart. So if we go back out to the 15-minute chart, there we go. Let's place a DP from this last high here. So when the market's down here, I'm not going to put white space on the chart again, but you can imagine when you're back, the market's back here. This would have been the last swing down here. So you do a DP off this pivot. So can you see how that would have given you the area of resistance, or a potential resistance area where you may be looking to see what happens if the market gets there? But the important thing is when we come down to the 3-minute chart, can you see how these are not at this resistance area? In other words, the market hasn't got up to this resistance area. So it's not the same as down here. Down here, the market made the reversal, it came up. Our buy setups were then in the direction of the new trend off the higher time frame support. Here, the market trend was still up because it hadn't reached the higher time frame resistance. So as the large degree trend was still up, you'd be ignoring these setups, and obviously because you're already in a long trade already, you'd obviously want to keep on holding that long trade up as it goes up there. What you may have done is, rather than looking to just take that one off, actually, because I want to grab this risk reward here. That's it, I'll grab that down there. So as the market was coming up here, it was Friday afternoon, perhaps you're getting close to the close. You may also have said that, well, actually, if I take profit at this higher time frame resistance area, that still would have been a profit of almost 9.5 times the initial risk, which is a very, very good trade. So either way, whether you're taking profit at the higher time frame resistance zone for a potential profit of 9.5 times the initial risk, or whether you'd have held it into close for nearly 11 times the initial risk, either way it was a very good trade indeed. But you see what we're looking to do with MTPredictor. We are not looking to trade all the time. We're not looking to use a black box or automatic system, because quite frankly, they just don't work over time. The reason being is markets are random, or basically unclear about 50%, about half the time, maybe even slightly more. So you shouldn't be trading when the market picture is unclear. It seems obvious really, doesn't it? So this is what we do at MTPredictor. We go out to the higher time frame chart, and then we place our DPs on the higher time frame chart. We ask the question of the market. We say, okay, there's support or resistance on the higher time frame. We ask the question, what are you going to do if you get to that level? Not when, but if you get to that level. We then look to see what the market does at those levels on the shorter time frame, which is the time frame you're trading. If the market does make a reversal at that level, we say, okay, the picture is now clear. That then determines the new large degree trend. So in this case, it came off the support. The new large degree trend was up. You therefore be looking for buy setups. That was helped confirmed by our MTP trend color, and therefore that was a good trade to take, looking to run it up into at least the next higher time frame resistance zone. And as you can see, that would have been a nice result for a profit of just over 9.5 times, or about 9.5 times the initial risk. So good example of MTPredictor in action on the USE Minis, the ES, yesterday, using our MTPredictor add-ons for NinjaTrader 8.